We'll just wait for a few more minutes and then get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Premier Wednesday. Before going ahead, I just wanted to share my screen. So welcome you all to the Premier Wednesday, an event sponsored by Premier Agile Consulting. Let me introduce myself. I am Madhuri from Premier Agile Consulting. I will be facilitating the session today. To start with our vision, transforming individuals and organizations to new age working through education, coaching, and consulting. We are offering Scrum Alliance Certified Scrum Master certification and Product Owner certification, along with coaching, transformation, and community development. We are also coming up with the advanced CSM and SAFe certification shortly. Please stay tuned to Premier Agile website. I request Ishwari to kindly post our website on the chat. Thank you, Ishwari. So you can click on our website and we are coming up with the schedule shortly on SAFe and ACSM. Thank you very much. And also, we are not just offering certifications, we are also transforming the working environments. We are glad to announce that CIO Review India magazine has rated us as top 10 Agile consultants for the year 2021. I thank you all for being a part of our journey. Our sessions are designed on learning from global practitioners which is backed by 50 years research on brain science learning with training from back of the room. We're also offering certain free implementations where I'll come back to this on my next slide. And value for your money, we are offering the best prices across India. So far, we have trained 10,000 plus students for 350 plus workshops across 30 plus countries. And we have been rated 5-star by Google. We have 5-star rating on Google. And as I said, these are the free implementations that we are offering. Premier Wednesday is all about the events that we regularly conduct, sponsored by Premier Agile. And this schedule, you can visit our website. Also, my teammate Ishwari will share you the our LinkedIn profile, Premier Agile LinkedIn profile. Thank you. There you go. There is the link, and you can have the event scheduled and all the events on our LinkedIn profile as well. And also Ask Mentoring. Ask Mentoring is a one-on-one mentoring session by the trainer. Any career guidance or mentoring that you require, you can register for this session. This is also a part of our free implementation resources that we are offering. And today also we are here for the Premier Wednesday event. That is overview of SAFe. And other free implementations that we are offering are blogs. There are almost 100 plus blogs on our website. Metrics, a book on metrics, online courses that we are offering, quizzes, and templates for sprint backlog and product backlog. All these are our free implementations. So can anybody tell me what are these? Have you seen these terms anywhere?
Scrum values.
Correct, exactly. Commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage. All these are the Scrum values. And also we are bound to follow these Scrum values today in the session. The session is time boxed, and I request everybody to kindly be on mute. If any questions, you can kindly raise your hand or put your question on the chat box. We will answer the question and you can make your notes accordingly. So let's get started today. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. JP Singh for today's session. Thank you, sir, for accepting our overview of SAFe session.
Thank you, Madhuri.
Thank you, sir. Just a few words about you, and then you can just give a detail about yourself. So Mr. JP Singh is a lean agile coach with strong experience in lean and agile. He's also a SAFe program consultant. He's transforming organizations by providing SAFe trainings, coaching, and mentoring. Also transforming the teams and individuals an agile way of working. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for joining today. So, sir, session is all yours. I'm stopping my share.
Yeah, thank you, Madhuri. I'm stopping my video as well so that we can concentrate on the topic.
Sure.
We can connect later. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so if you can see my screen, my name is JP Singh, and I have around 20 years of experience. As Madhuri mentioned, I'm into lean agile consulting and coaching and training and other things. So not much to talk about. So a lot of consultation work and training works I have done. So we will try to talk about the SAFe framework today, because SAFe is a very heavyweight or large framework. So we will be just scratching the surface. today. We'll try to understand what SAFe is and what are the important concepts and what value it adds to you at different levels of implementation. So we'll be talking around that, right? So this is the agenda for the day. We'll be talking about the challenges with scaling, key highlights of SAFe, right? SAFe framework and different configurations, whatever we can use with the framework, different configurations, values and principles of SAFe, and we will be just touching upon the key elements or the key attributes of the essential SAFe. Essential SAFe is one of the key configurations of the SAFe framework. So which is bare minimum to implement SAFe. So we'll be looking into that and different kinds of SAFe certifications. And then at the end, we can have a question and answer session. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let us start. Right. So this is Dean Lippingwell. He is the founder of SAFe or creator of SAFe. And so he says that business, in any business, right? So agility is not an option now with the current dynamics of the world, the way the world is digitalizing and transforming and it is evolving, globalization is there. So without being agile and adopting lean and other principles, it is not possible to sustain any business, right? Maybe it may be small or big, whatever may be the size of the business, but agility is a new way of working, right? We have disruptions, we have digital transformations, a lot of globalization going on. So a lot of new technologies coming into picture and a lot of disruptions happening. So any framework you use, but agility will be the foundation and you will be revolving around the lean and agile concepts. So as long as you adopt to those things, you will be in a success zone instead of struggling to sustain your business and to compete with your competitors, right? So this is Mick Kirsten. He is talking about if you master the large scale software delivery, this is small deliveries we can do, but when it comes to large scale software delivery, right? So with complex solutions or complex applications being developed and large scale, when we say is 300 or 1,000 people working for a common solution, for an example. So if you are mastering to deliver such a large scale solution, you will be the master of the economic landscape in the 21st century. So because if you don't master that skill, right, you will be in a awkward situation because most of the times we end up struggling when we try to deliver something big, right? So the collaboration and the coordination which is required there. So it's we don't know how to use the different channels for communication or to how to manage the dependencies and other things, right? So managing large scale software delivery is a key for the 21st century's economy. So what is SAFe? So anybody don't read through it, but what is your understanding of SAFe? Why we have Scrum, we have other frameworks as well. So why do we need SAFe? Let us have an interactive session. So anybody can unmute and we can talk. So that will be helpful.
Run multiple Scrum teams.
Okay.
Hello, sir. This is Janak Singh. I think scale is like to work with agile at enterprise level rather than on small projects. So we want to implement agile at enterprise and organization level rather than with particular department or division.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions?
These are the practices which we do at the portfolio level to organize ourselves and execute our project effectively at portfolio level. In the Scrum, Agile, everything they discuss about the project level with handling the very small team. And this SAFe is all about handling at a higher level, like in a portfolio level.
Okay. Okay. Just we'll take one or two, and then I will try to summarize those things. Yeah, any other person wants to talk about it? Okay. So to summarize, right, SAFE is a framework which talks about business agility and customer centricity, right? So not only at the team level, but also at an enterprise level. When we are talking about an enterprise, it may be big or having different portfolios, different programs and other things, right? So when we are talking about business agility, it's not about only software development, but other streams of development like funding, right, the marketing and other streams also. So how we can become an enterprise as an agile organization. So that is the focus of SAFE. So using the lean and agile principles. So SAFE is means propagating different practices across different levels, like at the portfolio level, at the strategic decisions level, right? And how to bring it to the those strategic and portfolio level decisions to the different value streams, and those value streams to the program level, and then program level to the team level. So it is talking about not only development of software, but also talking about business agility and customer centricity. To be the 21st century is all about customer, right? We all agree with that. So without customer in mind, we cannot do any business, maybe small or big. So customer should be the primary focus for any business organization. So SAFE is also promoting business agility and customer centricity, not only from the team's perspective or from a software development perspective, but from a business agility perspective. So that is the vision of Lean Agile SAFE framework. So SAFE framework is completely free for you to go and study and understand. So if you go to scaleagileframework.com, you will open that and the framework is available. So if you click on, I will show you in a short while how to navigate and look into that. So if you click on any of the icons, you will be redirected to a new page, and you can go and understand and digest by yourself, right? You can understand and implement by yourself. So it is a free framework, and many people think that it is too heavy, but it is designed. You need not digest everything, whatever is there on that SAFE framework page. So whatever is relevant to you, you can customize and use it. So rather, I would call it as a toolkit, right? All the tools available for scaling an enterprise to achieve business agility and customer centricity are all available in the SAFE framework. So it's up to us, based on our appetite and based on our need, what we want to customize and what we want to use, right? So it is not that whatever is there, everything we need to use, right? So that is the main purpose of designing it, and different configurations are available. So even within the configurations, you need not use everything. So if you use the essentials, basic things, if you are using, that should be fine. You can customize it. That is why it is called it as a framework. Okay, any questions so far? So many people, maybe we have seen this representation. So SAFE is available, we have different problem statements, every business and every organization. So that, as I said, we can customize and use to the benefit of our organization. It need not be implemented as everything is whatever is written there. We need not implement everything. So whatever is required for our organization, we will try to pick and choose the tools, and we will try to, the essentials will be there. The basic, as we use in Scrum, right? The basic things will be there. So the basics we will not deviate, but other things, whatever is not required, we can just cut short, or we can add something which is relevant to us. So that is how we will customize and use the framework. Okay. So when we are scaling, any idea we can unmute and talk about the different kinds of challenges we face, right? What kind of challenges we face when we scale. For an example, around 15 teams are working. You take an example, 15 teams have to work for a common solution, right? So what kind of challenges will you see?
Communication and dependency.
Okay. Perfect.
Maybe sometimes ego clashes.
Might be teams are not in sync about the deliveries. I mean, if there is any dependency.
Yeah, dependencies, right? Dependencies within the team or outside the team as well. Yes.
Availability of the team members. They are already busy, so not everyone is available.
Okay.
Prioritization of the work.
Yes, prioritization. How do we prioritize? Suppose if 15 teams are working together for a common solution, right? How do we prioritize the work which needs to be taken first and which needs to be taken second? Yes.
It can be mindset, like aligning everyone to the common goal.
So we need to identify the goal, right? Why we are, so if we are working for a program increment, that is what we call in SAFe, or a release in general terms. If we talk about a short-term release, maybe 2 months, 3 months kind of roadmap we have, that every 2 months we will be releasing something into the market, right? So we plan for a release, right? So what should be the goal? Why we are doing that release? What is the objective of that release, right? So yes. Anything else? Okay, so let me just bring about, right? So clear roles and responsibilities, right? If suppose 15 teams are there, as we talked about the coordination and collaboration. So different roles should be there, right? Who will manage what, or who will be facilitating what events, what kind of events we need to have, right? So clear roles and responsibilities will be one of the key challenges, right? If we don't have clear roles and responsibilities, we will struggle, right? Just pushing the ball here and there and trying to blame each other, right? So if we don't have the clear roles and responsibilities, we may struggle in that area, right? How do we manage the backlog, right? If 15 teams are working, how do we manage the backlog? What will be the prioritization of the backlog, and who will own the different backlogs for different teams, right? Or if we have a common one backlog also, so who will be owning that, right? And who will be refining and prioritizing and all those things, the backlog management. It will be too large, right, for 15 teams. Collaboration between teams, we discussed about that. That is a key crux for any large scale implementation. When we are talking about large scale implementation, different channels of communications will be there. So we need to address different channels of communication and maintain the channels of communication, right? How do we integrate the daily work? We talk about the CI/CD or the DevOps practices, right? So how strong or how efficient it should be, right? How do we integrate if 15 teams are working together, or if there is dependency and the code is being checked in? So how do we integrate the daily work, right? So we need to have focus on that area as well. So lack of vision and communication, that is another factor. What kind of metrics, right? When we are working at a large scale implementation, what kind of metrics we need to see at a team level? Yes, we know what to measure, but how do we see that 15 teams or the train for the agile chart, whatever we call in SAFe? So if the train at a train level, what kind of metrics, or at a program level, what kind of metrics we need to keep in mind and keep measuring that, right? So that we are not deviating from our goals and we are on track. Planning, how do we plan the work, right? For the release or for the program increment, right? So how do we plan for that? Automation, right? We talked about DevOps or other any automation practices within the software development. So scalable automation, how do we manage that, right? architecture. So architecture cannot be stagnant, right? It should always be emerging if we are working in an agile environment, because we may, to whatever, we cannot design everything upfront, but architecture should be emerging, right? So how do we manage that? How do we consume the architecture? Because something will be developed by the architecture team or the architects who will be running the who will be responsible for running the show. At the same time, the teams will also be adding and consuming the architecture, right? Whatever the available is there. So they will also be adding something, modifying something, and it will always be changing with the new edition or new work which is coming into the picture, right? So how do we manage the emerging architecture, or we call it as an architectural runway in SAFe, right? So we call it as an architectural runway. How do we manage that? So we will be in SAFe, we have a clear defined expectation and way to how to manage the emerging architecture in an agile environment. So we can learn about that as well. Not today, but definitely if you go to the framework, you will learn more about the emerging architecture or the architectural runway. You can search for that and you will get that information there. How do we capture the product level demos and feedback, right? How do we capture the product level demos and feedback? Budget. How do we fund the value streams or the ARTs, right? How do we fund? How do we fund the different teams? How do we manage the budget? Infrastructure management, right? The infra management will be also a complex thing when large number of teams are working for it. Sustaining the practices. Suppose one team is having some other practice, other team is having some other practice. So we should have a common set of practices, at least not identical at least, but to some extent, at least 70–80% should be identical, so that there is no conflict in the different kinds of practices or the working agreements which we have. Release management, integration of the work, and when we integrate it, release it as a solution, how do we manage that? So again, focus on customer. Are we in alignment with the customer needs? Are we able to achieve what the customer is expecting to be delivered? So all those things, the focus should be on that part also. So quality, which is an important factor again. How do we manage quality across the train or across the different teams put together, right? What kind of practices, what kind of metrics, what kind of automation, and what kind of DevOps practices we have to manage the quality, right? So all these things will play an important role. Stakeholder management, again, who will be, how do we manage, what kind of influence the stakeholders have at different levels? So these kind of things will be critical for any large scale implementation. Again, different kinds of tools. How do we standardize the tools across the teams so that we are speaking, delivering and talking technically the same language, right? So these are some of the challenges. So for any other questions around this?
Is there any minimum number of teams? Are there any constraints, or with 2 teams or 3 teams, it can be even 1?
See, there is a practice in SAFe, we call it as a Dunbar number. So 50 to 125 people, right? So that is what we suggest for one release train. So a release train can have 50, not, if we are having 45 also, so I have seen teams working with that 40 to something, but not very, 10–20 people, SAFe may not be required for you, right, to implement the SAFe, right? So we can just live with Scrum or any Kanban or any other framework. to meet the needs of that particular thing. But at least 50 to 125 people. When I say 125, again, not very strictly. We have seen teams growing up to, arts growing up to 150, 160 also, which is manageable. But the range given is around 50 to 125. So plus or minus 10, 20%, you can manage based on that.
Okay, thanks.
So looking at these challenges, are we saying that SAFe will fulfill all DevOps kind of activities, not only like Scrum framework only? So it also includes like DevOps methodology or framework, whatever you call it, or maybe business intelligence as well, right?
Right. So SAFe, as I said, it is a set of tools, and means we can call it a set of toolkit. Means it is a toolkit kind of thing. So whatever is required, if DevOps is very much mandatory for you, and because if more than 10 teams are working, right, without DevOps and integration and automation, it will not be possible to deliver incrementally every sprint, right? Or so that is how it is. So we need to have those practices by default. Without automation and without DevOps practices, it is highly impossible to sustain that, right?
Right. So even lean is part of it, right? So when we say quality here,
lean is again talking about how to optimize the practices or optimize the value stream, right? How to optimize the lead time and the other things also. So lean is all about optimization, right? How whatever the current practices or the current processes you have, how you can optimize and reach to the customer as early as possible, right? And DevOps is again, on the other hand, talking about your technical implementations, right?
Right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So for any framework to sustain, right, we need to have certain values and principles, right? So SAFe has also certain values as we have in Scrum, right? The values, 5 values we talked about in the beginning. So similarly, SAFe also has 4 values, right, around which it revolves, and 10 principles. So we will look into that. But before that, what will happen if we don't have values and principles, right? So without shared understanding, we don't understand what are the values and principles. We will not, these are some of the problems we may face, right? No systematic way to adopt the best practices to local context. Business outcomes do not significantly improve. Practices and measures beneficial will become problematic. Lean agile mindset is unachievable. Conflict and disagreement on process and practices are difficult to resolve. So these are some of the challenges we may face if we don't understand the values and principles of any framework, right? So when we are talking about any framework, we need to first digest and understand what the framework is and on what values and principles it is built, so that we need to practice those things, not only learn and do those things, but we need to practice, right? So if we are implementing any framework, if we are implementing Scrum, we need to follow the 3 pillars and the 5 values, right? And if we don't follow those things and practice those things, we will not be able to achieve the results. Similarly, for SAFe also, if we don't understand the values and principles, we will not be able to get the desired result what we are expecting, right? So we will quickly see what are the values and principles, and then I will take you to the framework to showcase you how it looks like, right? So program execution. So program execution, when I say, when we plan for the PI, right? So program increment. So how do we execute that? So that is one of the important values. What are the things we need to take care in the program execution? At the same time, across the framework or across the organization, how do we maintain transparency, right? And what kind of alignment we have? At the same time, with these 3 things, how do we build in quality, right? What kind of measures we take, what kind of practices we need to have to build in quality. So these are the 4 values around which the SAFe frameworks is built upon. So until and unless we practice these things, right, we try to focus on program execution, we try to focus on the alignment, transparency and give prominence to the built-in quality, we may not see the desired results because it will not sustain. Whatever we are trying to do, it will not give the desired results, right? So these are the 4 values, and we will quickly see the 10 principles one by one, and we'll try to just talk around that. So the first principle is, it is asking us to take an economic view. What do we mean by when we say take an economic view?
Maybe how much value it is giving to the business, or take something like that.
Right. So when we take any decision, right? So we need to take into the economic part of the financial part of it also, right? What value it is bringing, and what kind of revenue generation it will create, or what kind of financial things it will have, right? So we need to consider those things when we are taking any decision based on the safe implementation. So economic view should be given an important priority, because everything is related to the finance or the economy of that business, right? So we need to give more importance to that as well. Apply systems thinking. So what does it mean? What is systems thinking?
It's like considering everything together. It's not like considering only one part or component of something. So taking it as a whole.
Right. So we need to optimize everything as a whole. We need to think as a whole, right? If we are working for some change, we need to think what the impact will be, not only at the team level, but also at the program level, and at the same time at the portfolio level also. So at the same time, when we are taking some decision at the portfolio level, from top to bottom and bottom to top, right? So we need to think of the whole system as an ecosystem and take the decisions based on that. So apply system thinking, optimize the whole. That is what it is. Don't implement something in bits and pieces, but try to think how it will impact the whole system, right? So apply system thinking whenever you are taking any decisions. Assume variability, preserve options. So what does it mean?
Just guessing, it's about alternates, preserving alternates. If there are always apprehensions here.
Right. So in Agile, right, nothing is fixed. So we need to be ready for changes. We need to be adapt, right? Inspect and adapt, right? So based on that, assume variability, that some changes will be there, right? Assume that there will be a variability. Nothing is fixed, and based on that, you need to preserve some options, right? This is going to happen. How do we react to that, right? So be ready for that. So that is what it is telling about. Don't go with a fixed mindset, right? That everything is fixed, because when we talk about implementation for a release, we have planned for a release, but there may be some chances that the release scope itself is getting changed after 1 month of time, right? So we need to be ready for that. We cannot say that we have planned and we will be trying to deliver whatever we have planned, right? So that is what it is telling. Assume variability and preserve options. If something change is coming on your way, you need to be ready for that, and you need to have options to digest those things. Build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles. What do you mean by that?
Something we are building with PDCA cycles, plan, do, check, act.
Yes.
which is the lean principle.
Yes. So similarly, as we have in Scrum, right, we need to deliver fast, right? Or incrementally we will deliver. It should always be an increment. Suppose we have worked on X, Y, Z items in sprint A, then we are moving to sprint B, right? Then we should not disrupt whatever we have already built, right? We should add on top of that. So similarly here also, every sprint in a program also, when we are running the program increment, we are trying to incrementally deliver. After one sprint, we should not be breaking something which we have built in the first sprint. So, but incrementally, we should be adding something to that, and it should be fast enough, right? And with integrated learning cycles. So whatever we have learned, whatever the knowledge we have gained, or whatever the learnings we had, right? So from the past sprint, so we do the retrospectives and we try to understand what kind of changes we thought of, and so that should be integrated in our next sprints, right? So we should not repeat the same mistakes. So build fast, build and incrementally, and try to deliver with integrated learning cycles. So it's not only about the process, but any other learnings, whatever technical implementations may be there, or say some POCs we have executed, or some best practices we have come up with. So try to pass on that information to the other teams also. So whatever we have learned, right, pass on that message to other teams as well. Right, so that is the integrated learning cycles. So we need to learn from the past work, whatever we have done, right? So base your milestones on objective evaluation of working systems. So we need to have some roadmap, and we need to try to see, are we objectively being able to deliver those things, and it should be based on your working system. So it should always be milestone should be something not that we like it used to be in waterfall, but it should be kind of objective based evaluation of the working system. So visualize and limit the work in progress. Small batch sizes, or reduce the batch sizes, and manage the queue lengths. Don't have large queues, right? So if the waiting is long, if the time consumed will be or the time taken to deliver will be more, right? So we all understand that. So optimize the batch sizes, optimize the kind of work we are doing, limit the work in progress, like we have the WIP limits. So similarly, here also we have WIP limits, and Kanban is effectively used in SAFe for at the program level and at the portfolio level also to manage the things. And it's all about funneling and implementing the WIP limits, both at the program and portfolio levels, and also at the team levels, we can implement the same concepts. So reduce, have smaller batch sizes, and manage the queue lengths, don't have large queues. So that we can deliver fast, right? So this will help you to deliver fast if you manage these things. Apply cadence. So publish the calendars. So let everybody know when what event is happening, and when we need to be having a demo, or when we are going to have that. All those events and other things should be published, because it's a large team. So we cannot keep it very dynamic. So at least have the cadence, let the calendar be published, and synchronize with cross-domain planning, right? So different we may be working with different domains within the release train. So try to synchronize with the cross-domain planning and have cadence. So unlock the intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. So again, keep people motivated. Like if we don't have motivated people, it is difficult to sustain the pace of work, whatever we are doing. So how do we motivate people? Any ideas? How do we intrinsically motivate people?
Reward, recognition.
Reward?
Recognition.
What else?
When we facilitate them as a self-organized, they will be motivated.
Envisioning the vision.
Appreciate for every good task which the employee can take up.
Okay.
Career
this
growth.
is a very debatable topic, so I will not go in detail into that. But see, not only money, money is one factor. Definitely money and rewards and all those things, to some extent, they will motivate. But after certain period of time, right, those things doesn't work, right? So it again gives, means to my experience, I have seen that if you are giving freedom, right, freedom to work, freedom to take decisions, right, bring that organizing things into the team, right? Let the teams experiment, teams take their own decisions, right? And providing and means opportunity for them to experiment and learn and innovate. So these kind of things means we will give a self-satisfaction for the teams. Apart from money, money is important, that I am not taking it out. But apart from money, after certain period, suppose I give you some routine work every day, right? And I'm not giving you something which is passionating you, which you are passionate about, or which you want to implement. And I am telling you, if you come to the office and do these things, X, Y, Z, will that motivate you?
No.
Right? But at the same time, I'm giving the ample money. Who are not means reducing your money, and because if we reduce, we have other means things economically. We need to manage our family. We need to manage our social status and other things. So I'm not talking about that. But at the same time, giving you ample money, and I'm giving you an opportunity to decide, means how you want to work and what business value or value addition you will bring to the teams. So what will motivate you? The first scenario or the second scenario?
Second scenario.
Second scenario.
Yeah. So that is what it is saying. Unlock. So the leadership, that is what the lean leadership and other things come into picture. The leaders should bring this kind of means changes within the organization, right? How do we motivate people? What kind of practices we need to have? What kind of means agreements we need to have with the teams? Or what kind of liberty or means freedom we need to provide to the team so that they are motivated enough to achieve the desired results, whatever they commit for, right? Again, decentralized decision making. So if in a large means implementation, if the decision is not decentralized, if I am waiting for everything for my manager or my program manager to tell, there will be a lot of lag, right? We are creating a lag. So everything cannot be decentralized. At the same time, everything cannot be centralized also. So we need to strike that balance and see what decisions we can give to the teams. So what decisions we can decentralize, and what some decisions may be like budgeting, finance, and all those things, or means the customer means contracts and all those things. Those cannot be given to the teams. Those needs to be centrally taken care, right? So, but some decisions, what kind of framework you want to use, what kind of technology you want to use, what kind of means other things, working agreements you need to have. So those decisions, what kind of escalation matrix you want to have, right? So all those things can be decentralized. So let us give it means a freedom to the teams to take their decisions, right? Agree or disagree?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, agree, sir.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So organize around value. So if we are doing something, first thing, what is the value? Means my business or my customer or my organization is going to get out of it, right? So organize everything around value. It may be monetary value, it may be means any other business value which is adding benefit to the organization. So think around that. Any decision you take, and just think around that, what value it will create, right? Okay, so these are the different configurations we will see. There are 4 configurations: essential safe, large solution safe, portfolio safe, and full safe. Just let me present you to that. I will just try to share once again.
JP sir, we couldn't hear you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Now we can hear.
Yeah. So just I'm trying to just my system was a bit slow on slower side. So just trying to. Yes. So if you see, this is the scaled agile framework. Can you see my screen?
No.
Yes, we can able to see.
Yeah, we are
We
able to see your screen.
Folder. We are seeing the physical location of the folders.
Yeah, we are able to.
You are able to see the scaled agile framework or the folders?
Only the folders we are able to see.
Now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the means I was talking about. This is the scaled agile framework. If you can just go to Google and type scaled agile framework, you will be landing to this page, right? So we have different configurations. To begin with, this is the essential safe. If you see, essential safe is having this much only. We will talk in detail about that. So, but just to give an overview, so it has this configuration, right? Very essential. We are having the design thinking, Scrum team or XP team or Kanban teams, backlog, and then your DevOps practices, means CI/CD pipeline, and your means this is your program increment. We will talk about it later, but it will comprises of your release. You can think of your release in short term. So how it looks like: first sprint, second sprint, third sprint, fourth sprint, right? So again, you will have a PI kind of thing. So this is how it is, right? So this is, and your release on demand and your CI/CD pipeline. This much is very much essential. At the same time, you will have business owners, system architect, product management, release train engineer, agile teams, scrum master, product owner, right? So this is the basic. If you want to implement SAFe, this is the essential. You need to go with this implementation. Maybe whatever is mentioned here, everything is not required for you, but try to get as many things as possible from this, whatever suggestions are there, so that we are not missing out on anything. Right? So this is for basic implementation.
I have a doubt here is...
Yes, tell me.
What would be the difference between the product owner and product management as a team role?
Yes. So product owner will be at the team level, right? Okay. But when we are talking about a release, it means agile release train, at the train level, there will be a product management, means it is not an individual, but it will be a function, product management function. So there may be a group of people who will be managing the product at the value stream level or at the agile release train level. Suppose 10 teams or 15 teams are working, right? So these people will be managing at the top level, means identifying what kind of product vision roadmap and what kind of features need to be go there. And once it comes to the team level, means at the team backlog management, there will be a product owner who will be managing the product backlog and prioritizing and discussing with other product owners, identifying the dependencies and prioritizing based on
just one more small question is,
Yes.
RT will be only monitoring the Scrum Master and development team, and here the product management will be handling the product owner. Is it true in that sense?
See, RTE is kind of a chief Scrum Master, you can call him, right? Well,
Yeah.
We have a team level Scrum Master. At the same time, RTE will be managing the whole train. Any impediments, any dependencies, any challenges, or any means outside interference, or means any issues, escalations, talking to stakeholders, bringing in people. Whatever the Scrum Master does at the team level, the RTE will be doing at the train level.
Okay.
Right? So as the Scrum Master manages the Scrum team, the RTE is responsible for the whole 150 or 125 people who will be working in that art or the agile release train. So he will be responsible for protecting those people, protecting the values and principles, and educating the people on the values and principles of scaled agile framework, talking to different product owners, talking to product management, escalations, impediments, dependencies, all kinds of these things will be managed by the RTE.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. So is that, can we conclude in this way that in SAFe, there will be multiple Scrum Master who will handle the multiple team, and there will be one release engineer who will manage the whole team?
Yes, every team will have its own setup, as we saw. If you see here, right, this is for one agile team. We will be having the development team, the product owner, and the Scrum Master for each team. The same Scrum, this is talking about the Scrum implementation only within SAFe. Right?
Okay. Okay. So is RTE is just playing a role of Scrum?
Something like that, you can say, but not limited to only Scrum of Scrums, but he has other responsibilities as to coordinate the different activities within the release train and other things. So if his Scrum of Scrums is to some extent the same role, but he will have more responsibilities and things to do, manage apart from the regular meetings with Scrum of Scrums and other things also.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. So when we go to the next, so if this is at the basic level, so what is next? Next, we have a large solution, right? If we are, when I'm talking about a large solution, what you see, what has been added? This was for the essential SAFe, right? Below this line, whatever was there, right? You see here, right? So this section has been now added at the large solution level. So what it is talking about? We will be having one more level. We will be having the solution backlog, and we will be having the Kanban to manage those solution backlog. And we will be having solution demos and other things. Because when we say large scale solution, right, it is not only one single ART is running, there may be multiple arts there. So one or two arts may be contributing to that particular large scale solution, right? Here only one train will be there, but here you may have multiple trains. If you see here, right, two trains you see, right? And there is supplier also.
Yes.
Right? So that is the difference. If you have two trains or multiple trains means there, then we will go for the large scale solution. So some new roles will be added. If you see here, right? The solution architect, here we had a system architect. Now a solution architect is coming. So different system architects may be collaborating with a solution architect, right? At the same time, we had the product management. Now we have a solution management as a group, right? And we have instead of an RTE, one more role will be there to coordinate. Suppose 3 trains are there. Who will manage those 3 trains? So we will have a solution train engineer who will be working with the different RTEs at the train level, and he or she will be managing those things at the large solution level. Right? One more thing, did you observe? See, if you see here, these are the capabilities. Means for a SAFe framework, we have 7 capabilities. So in the essential thing, we had lean agile leadership, team and technical agility, and agile product delivery. So these are the capabilities you need to have in order to sustain the development, right? So when we are going to large scale solution, something new is being added. What is that? Do you see any change now instead of 3?
Enterprise solution.
It's enterprise solution delivery.
Enterprise solution delivery. So how to manage the enterprise solution delivery is discussed in these capabilities. So when I'm talking about capabilities, this is talking about a guideline or a basic requirement you need to have, and how to achieve these things is being discussed in these capabilities. If you will click on this, any icon you click, right, it will be opening a new page for you, right? So if you go here, you will click, it will open a new page and you can read about it. What are the practices? What are the things for agile product delivery? At the same time, team and technical agility also, it will be the same way. So anything you want? Yes.
Mr. Singh, a query, comment.
Yes.
See, if you come to the essential thing, essential graph, so there is an RT, one RT. So if you're coming to the large scale, we have STE, which is a solution architect. So not one, couple of two, because I'm from infrastructure, so not development side. So think a release manager is doing a release where he observes some kind of hiccups or the hurdles which he came across, discussing with the multiple teams like SDUs, application developers, blah, blah, blah stuff. Then he needs a solution. So think he is running a one train, the way you are showing it right now, essential train, there is a one train. And he needs a solution to get it resolved. What is the problem? And he needs a solution. And this has to go to the architect level, which comes under the next large scale solution. So is it possible that ST can also play a role in essential tab, which you are showing right now, or is it just he only concentrates on the large solutions? That's the point number one. And the point number two is, if one ST is there, which is in the large solution, will he manage multiple RTs, or a one RT can be a part of multiple STs? Because there are releases where one release manager will be part of this release, and he will be doing the another release after the completion of that one. He will be playing multiple roles. So how you are going to
see every train will have one release train engineer, right? Every train will have one release train engineer. And when we are talking about a large scale solution, if we are having 2 release trains, means within the large scale solution, there will be 2 RTEs who will be collaborating with the solution train engineer. So if there are 3 trains, there will be 3 RTEs, and they will be collaborating with the solution train. So there will be these 2 are different roles. RTE and solution train engineer are 2 different roles. Like we have the Scrum Master and the RTE. Similarly, the RTE will be at the train level, and the solution train engineer will be at the solution train level. So that is the first part. And one more question you asked, if I am having a dependency, who is going to solve that, right?
Yeah.
So at the technical dependencies will be owned by the solution architect engineering group, right? So this may not be an individual, it may be a group of, it is a function, right? It may be a group of people, and we have the system engineer at the train level also. So if you are talking about an infrastructure team or a team for which you are a system engineer, right? Then you will discuss with the other train engineers, solution train engineers, system train engineers, and you can have a meeting with this group. So this group and this group will come together and identify and discuss the challenges, and maybe the STE and the RTEs will facilitate these things. So they will come to know that there is a challenge. So they will call for a meeting and they will go for that implementation, right?
Makes sense. Thanks, Mr. Singh.
Okay, so we talked about the large scale solution. Similarly, when we are talking about a portfolio level, now the portfolio level decisions and other things which are taken at the portfolio level are not there. We are just seeing the enterprise and the government. right? Government is that in US we have different expectations for managing the government projects. So they have added one more section for the government, and enterprise is a private entity, right? We are talking about a private entity and a government entity. So that is the difference.
I have an observation here.
Yes.
Is in RT, it was like enabler and features are there. And for STE, there are capability and enablers. Means,
right.
Is it features and capability is the same in case of enterprise and large solution level?
So at a solution level, you will have capabilities, and those will be coming down to the features, right? And these enablers will be enabler only, right? So this is at the solution train level. The capabilities can be refined into features.
Features at an essential level from large solution when we are coming down to essential level.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I have one quick question.
Yes.
So who will decide like which team, which team has to do what? Like solution level, we are going to have the backlogs. So how it will be distributed to the last unit, like as a program backlog, as a in the product backlog?
See, here we are having the solution backlog, right? So each train will own some of the components of that, or epics, or something like that. A large scale themes, right? So suppose we are having a one, for an example, let us take a simple example. We are having a mobile something application we are working. At the same time, we are having a web version also. So 2 trains we are running. Think a simple example. So one train will take on the responsibility of the mobile, and one train will take the responsibility of the web, right? Or you can take it up an example of manufacturing of smartphones or something like that. So one team is working on the laptops, and one team is working on the mobile applications or the mobiles, if it is a manufacturing sector, right? So think of that. So how, because the features need to be the same, right, for both. So that is why we are having a common solution, and that is why we are having a common large scale solution. So 2 trains we have identified. So based on the high level bifurcation, whatever we will be having, we will be trying to do at the same time. Sometimes we may be working on a common one solution only. We may not have the differentiation, but the team size will become too large to manage. So we are running 2 trains. So based on the components or based on the applications, what will be there in the solution, we can divide so that the applications which are on one side can be grouped together, and one train will be working on it, and the other train will be working on the other applications.
So that means the prioritization of the backlog will happen at the solution backlog, and then it will be given to the units.
Yes, at the solution backlog, the prioritization will be happening like which train will be working on which items, right? And there will be a PI planning will be there. So before a PI planning, a kind of agreement is there that what kind of there will be a pre-PI planning. That means this level, right? So then they will discuss who will be which train will be working on what items, and they will take it up from there and then go for their PI planning.
Okay.
Right. So they will just pick up the high level items from the solution backlog and try to drill down refine in their PI planning at a granular level.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So when we talk about the portfolio level, now you see some more things are added. Right. Now you have the strategic themes, your portfolio vision, your budgeting, right? Your portfolio backlog, right? Your guardrails, and your development value stream. Now, initially there used to be only one value stream. Now they have made it into 2 value streams. If you see here, one is development value stream, which is for the development teams for the developing a solution or something. At the same time, there can be an operational value streams. So operational value streams may be your sales, marketing, right? All those things will comprise of your operational value streams where no development is required, right? So these are, they have bifurcated. Previously, they used to be in the same thing, but with 5.1, they have bifurcated into 2 value streams, operational value streams and development value streams. to give more clarity, because they are aiming for business agility, which is a key factor for the SAFe framework. So not talking only about the development value streams, they are also talking about how to manage and operate the operational value streams as well. Right? So this is at a portfolio level. Now you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 capabilities are there now. Initially there were 5, right? One more has been added. 2 added, lean portfolio management and this one, organizational agility, right? So this is at the portfolio level. So one more, we have the full configuration. When we talk about the full configuration, what has changed? See, this organizational agility is coming, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 capabilities are there now. And if you see this palette here also, right, like vision, roadmap, milestones, right, shared services, communities of practice, system team. This is also changing with your, when you change the configuration. If you see here, right, this is also getting changing sometimes. So we need to just see what kind of configurations we have and what kind of things we need to have mandatorily for our implementation. So how many configurations we have now?
Yeah, 3.
4.
We talked about 4, right? Essential, large
solution,
portfolio, and full. We have 4 configurations. So depending on your need and your requirement, you can choose and pick. And these tools and techniques also you can choose and pick, which is everything may not be required for you. So, but try to, when they are talking about CI/CD pipeline, at least have bare minimum CI/CD pipeline and DevOps practices so that you can kickstart from there. Okay. So let us go back to the.
JP sir, one question from my side. So
yes,
I have heard about the other roles, but I have not heard about the Epic owners and enterprise architect. Can you just explain the roles of those two?
Yes. So when you go to the here, right?
Yes, both portfolio as well as full. Epic owners and enterprise architect.
Yes. So as we had a solution architecting solution architect function, right? So at the enterprise level, this is at the portfolio level when you're talking, it's the enterprise level. So at an enterprise level, what kind of decisions, what kind of architectural decisions will be taken? So this is a hierarchy kind of thing you can think. So solution architect is at the solution level, and enterprise architect is at the enterprise level. So he may own the enterprise architect office or something. So basic key decisions will be taken by this group of people.
So they are the technical people, right? If I'm not wrong.
These are the technical people. When we say enterprise architect, these are the technical people. But when it comes to Epic owners, so SAFe thinks of having a strategic theme, right? And these strategic themes will be derived into epics. So if you can, as a part of an organization, this is for the leadership. Means executive leadership. Somebody will present some business idea or some idea, and that will be, he will be owning that epic, right? As long as it is not means the value is not derived from that. So he will just keep an eye on it, and he will be monitoring and seeing that what kind of progress we have made. Suppose you are an executive leader in the organization and you come up with an idea. So that idea is owned by you. So you will be looking through it and seeing that that is being implemented and other things. So when that will be picked up for the development is in the portfolio backlog, right? There will be voting and there will be discussions around the budgets and other things. So whatever items is picked up, that will go to the value stream, right? For implementation. So this person will present something and this will go to the backlog for discussion and for acceptance, right? So then once it is picked up, he will be monitoring and seeing that what kind of progress it is being made.
Yeah, thanks.
These decisions are at the enterprise level. Means something very high level, CEO level. You can think of means.
You can say director.
Something program director or somebody
Okay.
means who can influence the business, right, or who can influence the enterprise. Everybody cannot get that opportunity, right?
Yeah, clear now. Thanks.
Okay, so let us move back. So we talked about these four means things on different configurations. So when we talked about essential,
JP sir, we cannot hear you.
Defined should not, we cannot go away with that. Similarly, these 10 attributes should be considered and you should be focusing on that. We'll just quickly brush up with these things. So safe, lean agile principles. We talked about the 10 principles. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. We cannot hear you now.
JP sir, we cannot hear you.
okay. Okay. I think there was some. Okay, so we are talking. You can hear me, right? Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you.
Okay.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. So first is safe lean agile principles, right? We talked about the 10 principles. So first is we need to understand those principles and try to build our capabilities around that, right? Second one is the real agile teams and trains. You need to have identify the train, who will be part of the team train and who will be part of the teams. So you need to identify before going for the implementation. So what you need to have the cross-functional teams, as well as you need to identify what kind of skills are required for the people to be on the train so that we can incrementally deliver the solution, right? And also you need to identify the cadence and synchronization, right? What kind of cadence and what kind of synchronization, what kind of meetings, what kind of events we need to have, and when those events will be happening, who will be facilitating, and we need to publish the calendar based on that. So that everything is clear when we go for the PI planning. PI planning is nothing but you can think it of as a big room planning where all the team members, and I say all the team members, everybody who is on the train, including the business and the development people, everybody will come together, and it will be a 2 days activity where we will break out into different teams, team rooms, and they will come up with the team objectives and the PI objectives and the program board. So these will be the 3 things. I will just show you a video on PI planning. to quickly see how the PI planning is done. So that because PI planning is one of the key essentials of the SAFe. Without PI planning, there is no SAFe. That is how you can think of. Because other things are also available in other frameworks, but PI planning is a new concept, a new way of trying to figure out how to create work for the PI, right? So that is the crux of the whole framework. So you need to do the PI planning, and you need to invite all the stakeholders and all the people required for that meeting in advance. Come prepared for the PI planning so that there are no hiccups and there is no confusion during the PI planning. And customer centricity, DevOps, and other technical practices, right? You need to focus and see what the customer needs and plan your PI based on the customer needs and implement DevOps and other release on demand practices. You need to have an architectural runway, as I said, so an emerging architecture. Plan for your system demos, right? Without, when I say system demo, it is an integrated demo of all the teams work put together. If there are 10 teams at the end of the sprint, I will have a team demo at a team level. But at the same time, after the team demo, we will go for a system demo. When I say system demo, it is an integrated work of all the teams put together, right? Inspect and adapt. So inspect and adapt is something like what went well and what are the things you need to improve upon and what changes you need to bring in, right? Something like that. You need to have an inspect and adapt event. And IP iteration. IP iteration is a new concept. So for example, one PI, one program increment has 5 sprints, right? So every means 4 sprints, after 4 sprints, there will be one IP iteration. IP is nothing but innovation and planning. In the innovation and planning, we do plan for the next PI. That is one thing. Also experiment and do some POCs and do some learning and do some innovations. So that is means kind of providing an opportunity, a platform for you to see if there are any pending works from the previous sprints, integration or demo issues or some defects that also get fixed there. And apart from that, there is main focus is on the innovation and planning. So innovation is an experiment, try to do some hackathons or something like that, which will support you for your future development, right? Try to learn new concepts, new ways of working and new technical practices or new things which will help you. At the same time, the PI will be also planned during this period for the next PI. Right? And lean agile leadership. So as I said, to support all this, there should be an support from the lean agile leadership, and that without the support from the lean agile leadership, nothing is possible. So when you want to implement essential SAFe, consider these 10 factors or 10 attributes to be definitely there in your plan. Right? Any questions here? No? Can I move? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can hear.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are some of the other critical roles which we have we discussed. We have a release train engineer, right, who acts as the chief scrum master. The product management function is there, responsible for customer needs, and there is a system architect or engineering group which align the arts to a common technological and architectural vision. Customer and business owners. Business owners are a small group of stakeholders who have financial governance, fitness, and purpose of return on investment responsibility. So as a business owner, they will be sponsoring and funding and doing all those things for the art. So program increment, PI planning. Before going here, let me just walk you through the video so that we are not missing if we are running out of. Okay, so what did you understand for the PI planning? Did you get a understanding of what a PI planning and how it should be done? Hello?
Yes. Yes, we are able to understand.
Okay, so let us quickly see what are the key highlights, and then we will just go to the end and we can see some questions if we have time. So program increment, right? We all discussed what is program increment. Agile release train, the art group of people who are working together for delivering the value stream. Achieving business agility, right? Lean portfolio management, innovation and planning sprint, design thinking, having capability to release on demand. So these are some of the important things which SAFe promotes and are very much relevant to implementation of SAFe. So this is how the PI planning agenda looks like. Like if you see 2 days event, right? You start with setting up the business context, right? And then product and solution vision, architectural vision and development practices. Then we go for planning context and lunch. Then team breakouts. When we say team breakouts, whatever the high level things are there discussed by the business and product owners and the architects, those items are picked up by the teams and they go for an team level planning or breakdown of the features into epics and features into small user stories, and then try to identify the dependencies within the team and outside the team as well. Then they draft a plan, right? And then we have a draft plan review. So then we present the draft plan to the management, right? We say that this is what we have presented, and then there is some inputs and suggestions from the management during the management review and problem solving. So with those inputs, we go to the next day with some adjustments. Whatever the inputs we have got from the first day, we go for a next adjustment, discuss within the teams again, go for a team breakout, discuss again, and come with a final plan. Then we go for a lunch and we go for the program risks. We saw the risk board, right? Rome board. We go for identification of the risks and try to roam those risks. And then we go for a confidence vote. If everybody doesn't agree and there is no confidence vote, there is again a replan. We need to go for a replan and get for a confidence vote again, right? If there is, so until the confidence vote is achieved, that may be 1 or 2 times, and then we go for the planning and retrospective, and then we disperse and go for the implementation. Any questions?
This PI planning is with respect to the essential SAFe.
No, PI planning will be part of any ART. Means when we are running an ART, it will be part of it is part of essential SAFe, but even 2-3 ARTs are running, right? Each ART will be doing their own PI planning, right? And before that, there will be pre-PI planning if it is a large scale solution.
Yes. So if multiple release trends are there, then the team size will be very big, right? I mean, one release trend might be from 100 to 125.
Yes.
So if that is the case, then if suppose the PI planning for multiple release trends at the same day, same time, then will this day with 2 days is enough for this PI planning?
So each team will, each ART will be doing their own. They will not
separate.
Be
okay.
So if 3 are there, there will be 3 PI planning events. 3 arts are there, for an example. So there will be 3 PI planning events. And before that, there will be a sync up for a pre-PI planning called, when they will just at a high level, they will discuss the dependencies and then come back to their own agile release trends.
Okay, okay. So the pre-PI planning, the developers are not included in that.
No. The
This is
architects and the other senior people will be there. So that product management and the product owners, RTE, and those people will be there.
okay. Understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question. So,
Yes.
what is the duration of this PA planning? Like, it will happen once for 4 sprints, or is there any specific standard timeline?
No, every program increment, like we said, 5 sprints, right? Means 5 means so after that means 5 sprints is coming to around 2.5 months, right? If it is 15 days sprint, that is what SAFe promotes, right? So 4 development and 1 means IP sprint. So it is coming around 2.5 months.
Okay.
So that is, so every 2.5 months you will have 1 PI. That is what, if you are practicing the SAFe framework, every 2.5 months you will have 1 PI.
So SAFe always recommends 2-week sprint. So 14 days, 15 days sprint.
That is recommended, but if you are trying to innovate and experiment with 1 week or 3 weeks based on a business needs, it's not that they don't allow that, but the recommendation is 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. Thank you.
Right. So these are the 7 capabilities. Like we talked about the enterprise solution delivery, agile product delivery, team and technical agility, lean agile leadership, continuous learning culture, organizational agility, lean portfolio management, and customer centricity. Customer centricity is the center and business agility is the primary focus. So business agility and customer centricity act as the pillars, you can say, and these 7 capabilities help to get these things for the organization. Okay. So this is at a high level. I will just quickly touch upon different kinds of certifications we provide from SAFe, and then we can if you have any questions or we can just get it back to Madhuri. So these are some of the foundational certificates: leading SAFe, SAFe product owner, SAFe DevOps, SAFe for government, lean portfolio management, agile product management. So there are many kinds of certifications. So based on your need and your requirement, you can just understand what is that, and then you can think of going for that. And we have SAFe for teams, SAFe Scrum Master, SAFe for architects, SAFe Agile software engineering, right? And then we have SAFe SPC, SAFe Advanced Scrum Master, SAFe Release Train Engineer. So these are some of the different kinds of certifications you have. Any questions before I hand it over to Madhuri? No questions?
You can also type your question on the chat box, please.
So I think Madhuri, there are no questions, so I hand it over to you. I'm stopping the screen share.
Okay. So there's one question.
Okay. SAFe, Agile, and CSM are same. See, those are 2 different frameworks, right? So every CSM is from the Scrum Alliance, and SAFe Agile is from SAFe. So there is a difference. So values and principles and the way the exam patterns and the value the certificates carry. So learning will be different, right? So if when you are talking about SAFe Scrum Master or something, that may be to some extent the same, but when you are talking about SAFe Agile, it talks about the implementation of the SAFe framework itself, right?
There are a few more questions on the chat.
Okay. Let me go. Which SAFe certification should I pursue? As I said, means it depends on your role, the kind of role you are playing, right? And your organizational needs as well, or your future aspirations. So anything means whatever is your goal should be aligned to that. So basically, if you want to start with means SAFe Agilist is the basic certification, which we means SA we call. So that is what gives a flavor of all the framework. If you want to go for a higher means things like Scrum Master or Advanced Scrum Master, or you are on the product management side, so there's a POPM. So it depends on that, whatever you are looking for and current role and your aspirations.
So JP, is SAFe Agilist and Leading SAFe both are same?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Leading SAFe is SAFe Agilist.
Both are, I think, I don't know, one of the names is latest names, I don't remember.
Yes.
That is the latest, and that is the most popular SAFe certification. Just in case anybody is pursuing, or wanting to do SAFe certification and not clear on which one to start with, as far as I am aware of, that is the first certification generally people start.
So can you type the name of the certification on the chat box?
Okay.
Yes. See, let me show you here. So this is Leading SAFe, right? SAFe Agilist we call. So this is the certificate I was talking about, and Suresh is talking about the same thing. So Leading SAFe or SAFe Agilist. If you see in the certificate, it is called as SAFe Agilist, but in the means it is called as Leading SAFe as well. So there is a confusion. So either of the names you can think of, and let me type here.
Yeah, I have just typed. So it's okay.
You type? Okay. Thank you, Suresh.
Yeah.
So that is the basic certificate which we have. Any other questions are there?
Yes, there are a few more.
Okay. Can we do SAFe SM after CSM? Yes, definitely you can do. So if you are thinking of getting an opportunity to play the role of a SAFe Scrum Master, you can go, or if you have the aspiration to do that, definitely. But I would suggest first to do Leading SAFe before going to SAFe Scrum Master, because you will understand the SAFe framework and the implementation part also, because you need to know the framework, right? When you are going to act as a Scrum Master, you need to understand and know the framework as well. Because in SAFe Scrum Master, the details will not be touched. But if you go for Leading SAFe, the details of the implementation will be touched up.
There's one more question by Sagar.
Sorry?
There's one more question by Sagar.
Yes. How old is SAFe? And it is as popular as Scrum Alliance. See, we are not comparing here. See, Scrum is much older. SAFe came around in, like I'm not wrong, around 13, 14, somewhere around that, 2013 or 14. Maybe I may be wrong, but I don't know the exact date, but around something around that. And SAFe is, I think Suresh can answer, when Scrum Alliance. Suresh, 2002 or 3? I'm not sure.
Scrum Alliance started in 2001.
Okay.
And SAFe as a framework was there since 2007, 8, 9, but I think 11 it was more popular.
Yeah, popular.
Last few years it is getting really popular. But if somebody is just wondering on, should we do SAFe? I think it's a good answer by JP. If you are considering implementing SAFe in your organization, or if you are trying to progress in your career, as a next step after CSM or CSPO, I think definitely SAFe is a safe bet. That's what I would say. And for everyone's information, I know there are questions coming on certification, so maybe this is a good time I could answer this in general. So from Premier Agile standpoint, we are also launching SAFe certification programs very soon. Probably you should see the first schedule sometime in November this year. So please check out our schedules on premieragile.com website. So we are going to offer multiple schedules, probably a couple of time zones as well. So Namrata, I saw your question, so maybe you could refer back to our website after a couple of weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks, it should be there.
Suresh, so one more thing. It says it's valid for 1 year, and what after that?
That is something we could answer. As far as I know, yes, 1 year, and you got to renew it within that expiry.
Every 1 year, you have to renew your certificates. There will be something around $100 or something for the renewal. 100 or one means 150. I'm not very sure with the recent changes, but around $100 for the renewal for basic certifications. If you are an SPC or something, higher certificates have higher value. So something around that. Every year you have to renew to keep it intact. If there is any new means version, means like now we have SAFe 5, suppose SAFe 6 comes, then you need to go for a re-examination as well, right? To keep it means your certificate relevant and updated. So that is how it works. Until and unless there is a change in the version, major version. If suppose 5 is there, 5.1 has come, so you need not go for a change, right? But if 6 comes, then you need to go for a means recertification.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, Sagar has a question. Is a SAFe certification process same as CSM, attend the workshop and then exam, or directly study for exam?
Yes, something similar to that. So you will have a means preparation timeline, means after you attend the workshop, and you will have mock tests and other things to be taken. You can means be ready, be confident, and then take the main exam. So there will be means if you, for example, not able to clear, you need to pay some amount and again go for the second attempt or something like that.
Okay. So what I understood is there is a workshop, a training mandatory, plus the preparation and the exam.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that is a good way, because just by reading and writing an exam, I don't think anybody would learn anything. Attending a practitioner's training will have more discussions and real life examples. So I think that is a better way to study in general, any learning, not just SAFe exam, but in general. That's my opinion. Okay, so Vijay asks one more question. What will be the certification cost for SAFe? So Vijay, I think you should check with somebody who is offering already, or check back with us in a few weeks' time. But what I understood is there are different prices depending on the country you are in, and depending on the partner you are working with, depending on the certification that you are planning for. So there are various factors. So I think we can probably take that offline, Vijay, or if you could reach out to our Premier Agile hotline number, you can probably get more details maybe in the next week or so. Okay, so let's check any more questions. I guess JP sir is able to answer all questions. I think we're done with all questions. Yes. Great. Madhuri, over to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Madhuri.
Thank you. Thank you, one and all. On behalf of Premier Agile Consulting, I would thank Mr. JP Singh for your excellent session. And thank you for all for the guidance that you have given to all our participants. Hope all of you had a great session, and this will be like helpful for us to kickstart our safe journey. Thank you all for your commitment shown. Hope you had a very good informative session. Now that you have earned 2 SEUs attending this event, you can add your earned SEUs to the Scrum Alliance dashboard under categories. I would request my teammate Ishwari to kindly post the blog to how to add SEUs there. Yeah, thank you, Ishwari. So our upcoming Premier Wednesday session is on Ask Mentoring, where you can have the one-on-one Ask Mentoring session by the trainer. It's on October 6th. I request everybody to kindly visit our website and register for this event. And now I would request everybody kindly give us a small detailed feedback on the session on the chat box. Kindly type your feedback on the chat box. We will just wait for a couple of minutes so that we will receive few responses and then we conclude the session.
On the screen, how should we add them to our profile?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Regarding the SEUs which we have earned, can you help us? Like, how should we add it to our profile?
Yes, my teammate Ishwari will share you the link to how to add SEUs to your, yeah, there she has given just the link there.
So just to elaborate on that, Sagar, this is Suresh. So since you completed your Scrum Alliance certification recently, you have a dashboard. You can log into your Scrum Alliance account, get to the dashboard, and then there is an option called Add SEU. Okay. Once you click that, there will be a small form, just 2-3 fields. You can fill up that, September 22nd, and this is the speaker, this is the session we had. These are the takeaways for you. So just fill up that and you should say 2 hours. So you should be able to get 2 SEUs. And the link provided by Ishwari a minute back, just bookmark that link. On Premier Agile, we have created a small help document on how you can add SEUs to your Scrum Alliance dashboard.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Just to add on to that next Premier Wednesday event, I know there is one mentoring session coming up on October first week. And there is also one more speaker session happening in December on Agile coaching. Just in case somebody is doing Scrum Master or a safe practitioner already and would like to understand more about coaching, that could be a good session. And I believe Ishwari has already posted a link about Premier Wednesday events. So I request all of you to kindly sign up for that session as well. And we are also planning to maybe conduct one more session in November, any other topic relevant. So please go ahead and register for our upcoming Premier Wednesday events. By the way, there is one more small announcement. We have another platform. Like Premier Wednesday, we have another platform called Spread Agile. And we do, this is something started by me and another 2 certified Scrum trainers, Nanda and Vijay. We are all based out of Hyderabad, so we do all these community events a lot. On Spread Agile, we do 1 event a month. So our next event is tomorrow, and we are inviting one of the trainers from the United States, Jim, and he has about 20-25 plus years of experience in the Agile world. She's going to speak about Agile leadership. So that would be a great session to attend, just in case anyone is interested. Again, Ishwari can give us a link to the registration. It is on spreadagile.com.
Suresh, this is Pragya here.
Hey, Pragya. Yeah.
Hi. Actually, I have done the CSM under you, but not through Premier Agile. So can I attend that Ask session for it? I have done it, I think, 2020 February under Knowledge Hut.
That's okay. You can register there and connect with Madhuri, so she can help you attend our mentoring session.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
But that will be more specific. It will not be like a generic discussion. It's about more career-related guidance and any questions, and it is more focused for a specific one person or maybe group of 5 or 6 people. Okay, so it'll be like a first come first serve. If the slot is not available in October, we'll do it again in November and things like that. Okay, so you'll be like on a queue for that, because we want to have more focused discussions. Okay, great. Madhuri, you have something more to say?
Yes, yes.
Good. Sorry, I hijacked your conversation.
That's okay.
Actually, I had one more question regarding the SAFE certification. So like now CSM, like if I do I've done CSM. Now after 2 years I do CSPO. So both my certifications extend up to 2024. So that's I wanted to ask, is the same applicable for SAFE certifications also?
Okay, that is something JP can answer. Or
no, it is means all independent here. So they will charge you for each certification. That is what I know. Maybe now with say 5.1 something has changed, so I need to recheck on that. But it is whatever I know is everything is independent. It is not that one certificate you renew and everything is renewed as in Scrum Alliance.
Okay.
Thank you for your words. Thank you for the feedback. Wonderful feedback given by one and all. If you really like our session, you can also give us a video testimonial and earn the gift voucher. And I would request everyone to stay tuned for our website for more learning and new schedules as well. If you have any query, you can write us to info@premieragile.com, or you can reach us to our hotline numbers, which is 91542.